All right guys, Mark McKillier here with Live Anabolic. And what the heck am I doing standing in my garage, all right? Guys, this is probably one of my favorite rooms in my entire house. You guys don't realize this, but I have built 3 complete race cars in this garage. This is my 3rd race car. I built an old Mustang, a 66 Mustang. I used to race it, I sold it, and I'm like an idiot. I built a 68 Camaro, raced it for about 5 or 6 years, sold it. And then I built this, a 1971 big block Corvette, which I raced. And by the way, I love taking this out on the street on a nice pretty day. Believe it or not, if you get antique plates put on these things, you can legally drive them on the streets. So what does all this have to do with working out, exercise, nutrition, and getting fit and healthy? Well, guess what, guys? This just happens to be the 3rd week of the COVID-19 virus crisis. And guess what? They shut all the gyms down a few weeks ago. So I've had to get creative, all right? And I've decided to turn one of my favorite rooms in my house into my gym. And guess what? Let's look over here real quick. Normally, I would have my car parked here. Well, guess what? The car is gonna be sitting outside until this is all over. And for the time being, this area is my new gym. And I just want to give you guys some really clever ideas on what you can do if you have room like this. And it doesn't have to be in a garage. Maybe you have a guest bedroom, okay, where you can take a lot of the furniture out of it, or at least push the furniture up against a wall and get a little creative. Well, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you how much money I spent on all this equipment, and then I'm going to show you how I use it, and I've been blown away by how great my workouts have been in my own garage. All right, so first of all, you're gonna see this, incline bench here. All right, so this, is something I bought at the local sporting goods store. I think I paid about $140 for this. Took me a couple hours to put it together. And it's not, industrial strength quality, but this thing is pretty good. It's gonna be plenty sturdy and strong enough for what I'm gonna be using it for. And it's gonna last years and years and years. All right. Now, the other thing you're going to see are bands. Now, guys, originally I only had 1 set of bands. And I came up with a really cool creative idea. I want you to follow me over here real quick. And you're going to see 2 sets of bands connected here and connected way over here. And I just happen to have them hanging in the middle here so I can grab them real easily. Now, guess what this looks like? A cable crossover machine, right? Well, when you step forward, okay, and I start doing flies, guys, this feels absolutely incredible. It feels pretty much just like a $5,000 cable crossover machine that you're gonna see at one of the high-dollar gyms, okay? And these bands, okay, $35 for each set of bands. So I invested 70 bucks right here, okay? And the key, guys, is having the anchor points spread way, way out. And the only way to do that is you have to buy 2 sets, okay? Because you can't take 1 set and use a black band over here and a blue band over here because it won't be equal, okay? You need to have symmetrical weights on both sides. And these things were selling for $25 before the big crisis broke out. Now they're out of stock. But guys, this is another thing I want you to think about. I ordered these off of Amazon. Amazon said they were out of stock and they weren't going to be back in for weeks and weeks and weeks. I said, screw it. I placed an order for 2 sets anyway. These things just showed up 3 weeks earlier than they thought they were going to show up. So go on and place your order even if they're out of stock, all right? And a lot of this stuff is really coming in pretty quick, all right? So I got a 3rd set of bands here and I got them hanging from the ceiling, okay? Now guys, this set right here is fantastic for doing triceps and back and lats, all right? So once again, this is very similar, okay, to a cable machine where I'm doing tricep push downs, okay? Just like this. And then if you want to do your lats, you get way down here on the ground, and I like to just sit down, okay? And I can just, and I will load this thing up. I'll put every single band on these handles, okay? So I can get a fantastic amount of tension up there because your back is really, really strong. So I'll hook all these different bands up to the handles and use all 5 of them at the same time. And trust me guys, you can really, really get some tough workouts. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about, and it's safety, I know, okay? I don't want to be a safety weenie, but when you start hooking up 5 bands and pulling down, you're pulling with probably 150 pounds of force, maybe more. So you need to have a really good anchor. See these, okay? This is too small, too skinny. These are the size anchors that I bought at the hardware store, okay? See how thick that is? And you have to make sure that you drill it into a stud. So that is not just going into my sheetrock, guys. There's a 2x4 above that, okay? So when you're anchoring these things and you're not using a door like you traditionally would, okay, you gotta make sure you use a big wood screw or lag bolts, okay? Big diameter, super strong, and get it into a stud. All right, now you probably recognize these dumbbells from some of my other videos that are on this channel. Now guys, these are not cheap, but they're worth the money, okay? I spent about $300 to get these. These are adjustable dumbbells. So instead of having a big rack and 10 different pairs of dumbbells laying all over the place, I can adjust these anywhere from 5 pounds up to 50 pounds in 5-pound increments. And let me show you how hard it is. Come on over here. So you just grab the handle and you look at the weight here. And if I want to go heavier, I turn it to the right. I got 40 pounds. Lighter, 20 pounds. And when I pull it up, you see how it only pulls some of the plates with the handle? So that's 20 pounds. I slide it back in place. I dial it up to 40 pounds. See how many more plates are attached to the handle? That's how quick it is to adjust from one weight to another. So guys, these are fantastic. Now I know they're expensive, okay, but they're gonna last forever, right? It isn't like you gotta buy a new set every year. So fantastic investment, especially if you're gonna be working at home and if you really wanna start getting serious. You can go all the way up to 50 pounds and I absolutely love these. Now, you're gonna notice I have a squat rack here, okay, and no bar. This squat rack came with my incline bench, okay? It was a set. Now, I've decided not to buy a bar and all the plates that you have to buy to go with a bar, okay? It's pretty expensive, and to be honest, guys, I don't do many exercises that require a bar. Almost everything that you can do with a bar, you can do with these dumbbells, okay? The only thing that I can't do is really heavy squats. I can load up a bar and put 300 pounds on it and do some heavy squats, but screw it, I don't even go heavy on squats anymore. So guys, you don't need to spend the money on a bar and the big plates, okay? I realize you can do bench press on this thing. It's not just a squat rack. I don't even do bench press at Gold's Gym, okay? So I don't even use a bar. I do everything with dumbbells and machines and cables. So guys, fantastic amount of stuff you can do in your own garage. And I'm gonna move on to one other thing here. This is a sandbag. Now, guys, look at this. It's got handles all over it, all right? And it's got a zipper. You zip it open, and it's got 6 individual 10-pound bags full of sand. So I can adjust the weight in this sandbag anywhere from 10 up to 60 pounds. I got all 6 of them in there. And let me tell you guys, oh, that's heavy. And there's some fantastic exercises you can do with a sandbag. You can do them inside, you can do them outside. This is really good for throwing on your shoulders, okay, and doing lunges and squats and all kinds of other leg exercises, step ups. And that's what I typically use a sandbag for, lower body workouts. All right, one other really clever trick that made a huge difference to my garage gym here were these mirrors. Now guys, I had to kind of get creative here, all right? So I have 2 mirrors, all right, here and here. Well, these were 2 big windows that looked out of my garage into my front yard. These were really sliding mirror doors for a closet. I just went down and picked them up at Lowe's or Home Depot, okay guys? So instead of putting them on the rollers in the track like you normally would in your house if it was being used for closet doors, I said screw it. I just put a piece of 2x4 on the ground, and the mirrors are literally sitting on a 2x4, and they're laid back just inside the frame of the windows, okay, right up here. They fit perfectly, and I put a single piece of wood right here, and I screwed it in, and this single piece of wood is retaining these mirrors, making sure they won't fall out. So guys, you don't have to do that, all right? But I spent about $175 for these mirrors. And you know, that's not crazy expensive, and it made a huge difference to my workouts because I'm so used to working out at the gym with mirrors everywhere where you can see yourself working out, okay, and you can balance things a little better. And I worked in this gym for about a week or two without the mirrors. And I said, screw it, I'm gonna go try to do something kind of creative here. And as soon as I put those up, man, it changed the entire feeling in my garage. It became more professional, okay? And I have other friends that like to come by, all right, because their gyms are close to and nobody has any equipment. So I got some good buddies of mine that just come by, they let themselves in if I don't happen to be here, or occasionally they even work out with me. And they love these things. So this made a huge difference, guys. Okay guys, I'm very anal, I'm an engineer, so I have to have a whiteboard. And this is another thing that if you don't think about it, you would never realize how fun it is and how helpful this thing is. So when I'm doing my workouts, if you're just working out by yourself like I typically do in here, man, I'm thinking, all right, I've done chest day, and I can't keep track of how many things I've done. Matter of fact, I can't remember if I've done 10 sets or 15 sets total because I'm doing all these different exercises. And I just write them up here on the board, okay? This is a great way to keep track of what's been going on for the last 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. And another thing is, it gives me something to do in between each set. So every time I do a set, I come over here and I write down how much weight I used and how many reps, okay? And then sometimes when I'm using my bands, I'll even write down the color of the bands. And then, guys, this is a clever little trick, okay? Write it all down, and then how do you know next week what you should use, how much weight, what color bands, right? I take a picture of it with my cell phone, okay? That is your documentation. So next week, just look on your cell phone and you're going, okay, you can just write it all down and you'll know that you were using 50 pounds on a certain exercise and certain color bands on a different exercise. And then you can decide to go up in weight if you want to or add more bands. So guys, dude, this is dirt cheap. It's a dry erase board and it just makes everything feel more professional. And then finally, come on, we're not gonna let this virus kick our ass. I refuse to give up. I've had to kind of adapt and get creative and imaginative, and I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished here. So we can't quit, guys. You hear me say that all the time, right? So we are gonna prevail. Eventually, society is gonna come back, okay? But in the meantime, we can't give up. We gotta stay on top of our fitness. There's no excuses, guys. Remember, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to always stick with it and never give up on yourself.